In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to fill out a timesheet for salaried employees using the employee portal. You should have already seen a previous video or received previous instructions about how to log into the employee portal for the first time. But once you're logged into the employee portal, you'll go over to the left-hand side of the page, and there's a couple of different options here. If you don't see these options, try clicking on the employee button at the top. That should bring up all of these options here. But out of those, you're going to click on the timesheets option. And this will bring up a list of all of the timesheets that we have in the system for you that you've created using the employee portal. For the first time, this is typically just going to be blank. I've got a few in here because I've made some time cards in the employee portal. And it'll show you the pay date that applies to, for example, the week of, so when that pay period started. As well as some timestamps to show you when you edited those timesheets last. But to create a new timesheet, you're going to go up to the top right corner and you're going to click on the new timesheet button that's available here. It's a clock with a little calendar behind it. This will load a new timesheet for you to fill out. Now, for salaried or exempt employees, what we'll have you do is you'll just make sure that, again, the employee section here says your name, that your assignment shows up correctly, so it shows the right job for you. And if you have multiple jobs with the city for whatever reason, just keep in mind you will have to make 2 timesheets for each of those assignments. There's the payroll cycle as well, and this will just show you the pay period that we're filling out the timesheet for. And then the pay date, when the payment is actually going to come through for the days that you're entering. And then the schedule button. Now, for salaried employees, we recommend that you click on the schedule button when starting a timesheet. What this will do is this will just fill out a template for you, an 8 to 5 Monday through Friday schedule that's filled into the timesheet for you already. Now, it's important to note that with salaried employees, since we don't actually track your time or the amount of hours that you worked, the numbers in here are kind of superfluous. They don't really matter that much. We do like to have you click on the schedule, though. It just makes it a little bit easier to remember what days you used leave on, for example, and just helps you kind of with entering all of the time that you do need to enter. So again, the main thing that we need to make sure you enter as a salaried employee is the accruals that you use. So for example, let's say on May 20th of 2019, I took a sick day. So I would go down to the sick hours used in the task column, and this will just show you all of the options that are available. So regular hours, which doesn't really matter too much for salaried employees, vacation, personal, sick, holiday hours, paid leave, and even mileage reimbursements. So let's say that I was sick this day, and I used 8 hours of sick leave here, so just make sure that that says 8 hours. And then I would just click out of that and just move on to the rest of the entries that I need to make. So really you just want to make sure that the sick hours that you used, or that vacation hours that you used, plus the regular hours that are entered equals about 80 hours for a week. So for example, in here we've got a regular hours scheduled, like for the 27th, which is Memorial Day. But we also had a holiday hours that was entered for that as well. So it should automatically fill in holidays for you, so you don't need to do anything with that. But it does just help you, again, keep track of it when you click schedule, because it will automatically fill that in for you. Now, with the regular hours here, for example, I would just go ahead and delete this entry out, so you can just click anywhere on this row and then just hit the remove button that's over here on the right-hand side of the page. If, for example, maybe you worked for 4 hours one day that you were normally scheduled to come in, but you took the rest of the day out because you were sick. If you go up to the add button up here, you can click on that, and this will create a new entry for you. So it'll just be the one that says choose one, and then you'll just enter the day. So let's say, for example, on this Tuesday, I worked for 4 hours, came in for the morning, but then I started feeling kind of sick, so then I took off for the rest of the day. I would fill out sick hours used, and I would enter 4 hours there as well. So you can do this for a lot of different things, but what should help is down in the totals column, it'll show you the number of holiday hours that you received, so the amount of holidays you were paid for, or the amount of hours for a holiday you were paid for. It will show you sick hours that you used. So in this case, I took one sick day, used 8 hours of my accrual, and then 4 hours on this other day. That equals 12. Then I have the regular hours that I worked, which again doesn't matter too much, but just helps you keep track to know, how much of your leave you actually used. The total should typically equal about 80 hours. But again, as long as you're just making sure that any accruals or any holidays, show up in there for you, and that's really what we're looking for with these timesheets. If you do use any special kind of leave and need to make a note, like say for example, on this Monday, or maybe not on Monday, but maybe on Friday, the week before, I needed to use paid leave of some kind. So I had, say, bereavement leave that I was eligible for. I would just put in the comments that I used this for bereavement leave, and maybe just put the name of the relative, say for example it was an uncle who passed away. So you can leave comments on any of the entries that you make on your timesheet. But once that looks right to you and you've checked to make sure that all of your entries equal the amount of accruals that you actually used, you'll go ahead and click on the Save button in the top right corner, and that will just go ahead and give you a message saying that the time entries have been saved. And then once you're ready to submit that timesheet, you'll just go ahead and click on the Submit button that's also in the top right corner of the page. But that's all there is to filling out a timesheet. If you run into any situations where you're not sure quite how to enter it, or just are kind of concerned that you're not going to fill out the timesheet right, you can always reach out to your supervisor. You can reach out to me, or you can reach out to anyone in payroll, and they'd be able to help you just clarify how you need to fill out your timesheet.